Hey guys! So, today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the values that you may find, or rather why I think it's at times kind of important to be able to move about in a meeting room and have efficient communications with, well, basically your stakeholders as a programmer. So let's get into it. Now, this is kind of following up on a subscriber question that I got the other week, I think, where the question was basically, Fredrik, can you elaborate a little bit on the social aspects of programming? And since this is, that's a massive subject, okay, what does that even mean? How do you elaborate on the social aspects of something, or in this case, programming, right? So I thought I'll make a few of these videos where we kind of go through like different scenarios, where concrete scenarios where social skills within programming is actually kind of vital. Now, I've been telling you over and over how important it is to have a certain level of personal maturity when you work in a collaborative team, because, and this is true not just for the juniors, guys, this is true for the seniors. I have met some fairly smart, super senior software developers who have spent most of their careers working as an island, and then they go into a more social environment where they have to work as a team, and they get super defensive. It's actually kind of funny. I'm not saying that this is a trend or anything like that, but on the whole, now I'm not saying that it's a rule, it's not a rule, it's just that very often I'm kind of surprised at the level of personal immaturity I sometimes find in people in software development. Some of the smartest people I've ever met are software developers, but I've also met people who have they have anxieties and other kind of issues that you don't find all that much in, say, more social professions such as sales or marketing or something like that, where you kind of have it's a different environment basically. Now, it's not a bad thing, it's just a small observation. But what this means is that these people have a bit of, let's just call it an adjustment issue. Now, don't dismiss this, guys. Don't, because you may think that your ability to work effectively in software is all down to your ability to write software. And a big part of it has, of course, to do with how good you are at writing software. But trust me, guys, even the smartest software developers in the world, although they may be geniuses, they have to interact. They have to be able to a certain degree, be able to communicate. Now, a concrete example of this, and this is honestly, this is probably one of the roughest things for you when you are a junior developer, and that is to set expectations. Now, what do I mean by setting expectations? Well, I mean that setting expectations is the sort of thing where you have a feature or you have some type of issue at work or something of that nature. Now, your non-technical stakeholders, let's just try to picture it like from your project manager's perspective. They have a backlog, they have a certain amount of features, they have their own stakeholders, of course, and they want to ship certain things. They have no understanding of the health of the system. They have no knowledge whatsoever of software development, because that's what you're there to do, right? So you produce things. They come with requests and they talk to you, and you keep that dialogue going, right? You ship things and so forth and so forth. Now, not that long ago, I mean, this is the way most companies work. Not that long ago for us, we started seeing stability issues with the platform. Now, as technical experts, this is not news to us. When you scale up a company, technical debt has usually accumulated. When you start at a small company, you usually cut a lot of corners to ship things quickly, to start getting revenue streams. When you stabilize a little bit more, or you go for a scale up, as we call it in the industry, it's usually a little bit of a hassle. And the reason why it's a little bit of a hassle is because now all that tech debt is going to come back and bite you in the ass, because you want a system that you designed for maybe a few thousand users is most likely going to face some challenges when it's catering to hundreds of thousands or millions of users. This is something that your technical coworkers, or like your other programmers, they will understand, but it's something that your stakeholders will not understand. So now The sort of dialogue that you're going to have is with your stakeholders is they're going to come to you and ask, why do you have stability issues? Well, why, we have so many bugs, what's the problem? Now you have to be able to communicate that effectively. And the same thing goes on a daily basis when you're grooming stories or something of that nature. You're talking to these stakeholders and you have to make, like, because you're the expert, you have to be able to kind of have a little bit of a backbone and not just comply with everything that they request. If your stakeholders are making a request to you and saying, we want this and that, and it's super important that it works that way, and you can identify that this is going to cause a problem, you have to speak up. You have to. They have no idea of what the impact is. This is something that, as I said, for the juniors, this is super tricky because you feel that you're going to go into a confrontation mode because your boss said that he or she wants that. And now you are there, like, who are you to say that, no, that can't be done, or that's a bad idea, or like second guessing, because you're still kind of learning your role or learning your, like, figuring out your place in the company or just in general in software, right? So it's a tricky thing. It feels bad to be the person who shuts down an idea or says that this is a bad idea, to be the critic, but you have to. The reason why you have to is because if you simply comply, you're simply going to have another discussion later. And that discussion is going to be, why did the whole thing break? Or why is it acting this way or that way and so forth? It still comes back to you. You cannot, guys, I know that it feels secure and safe to just sit quiet in a meeting and let everybody else speak, but it's gonna come back to you. Trust me, it comes back to you. You cannot avoid the social interactions. Some people have more to say, some people have less to say. But the one bare minimum thing you have to commit to is that you are the technical expert. You are the person who knows the domain. You're the person who understands how the system works and all of that good stuff. Therefore, it's your responsibility, just as with a doctor, your responsibility to your stakeholders is to inform them. That's the bare minimum. You do not have to sell them on an idea. All you have to present are the facts and your concerns and try to explain how the impact of certain decisions are going to cascade through the system. That's the important part. You don't have to sit there and have an opinion on absolutely everything, but you need to be able to communicate effectively with people who are both going to most likely earn more money than you are. They're going to be your boss, they're going to be your boss's boss's boss, and even now and then you might face that you have to make a damn PowerPoint presentation. You may have to. All of these things are things that you may face, and these are things that they have nothing to do with your ability to write software. They have to do with your ability to effectively communicate with other human beings. Now, this is not your focus, of course. It's not something that you have to be a master of, but it is something that you're going to face. You're going to have to talk to people. So, what I want you to take away from this is that you have to be able to kind of, sit up in your chair and tell people what you actually think about things, or share your concerns to just effectively communicate. And you're going to have to learn how to do that with both your peers, people who are, your own coworkers, and your managers. Because remember, you're the expert. Have a great day.